Okay, so welcome back. I figured we'll take a little break for this one from playing the matches, and instead we will focus on our training options, which we haven't covered as of yet. So I'm just going to quickly go through the players and pick the options. Now, a lot of these players we don't really intend to keep in our team longer term, so won't care too much. But for this one, we will. Quite often these are pretty straightforward. I think in this case, like, this option is just outright better. So we'll go with that one. So when they're not even close, I'm not really going to narrate it. I'm just going to pick whatever. It's only when there's something that's in the balance a little bit. I think, again, I would focus. There's a choice here potentially because of the whatever the type of player is, and so on and so forth. But these are not. If it's a player, we're not going to keep around anyway. I think this one we're just not using at all, right? So yeah. So back to the trainings. He is our superstar right midfielder. So this one really potentially matters. So we're saying -2 endurance. Either way, it's -2. We're at -1 determination, -1 control. So we're basically saying, and there's one extra, one natural fitness, and the movement. But I don't think it's worth losing the endurance. Basically, that's kind of our choice. Really, it's a bit more complicated than that, but I don't want to lose that because he at the moment he can often just last the full match without having to be subbed again in the end. And if he loses that, then we probably would have to substitute him regularly, and we don't want that to happen. Sorry about that. Just had to cough. Okay, so back again. This is a striker that we've been using a fair bit. He is often coming off the bench at the moment. So I feel like we can go with this one. Now he's currently starting, but yeah. I think the extra composure, not too bothered about that. But also the extra dribbling, probably that one. It's a 4-point swing in endurance though. But I do feel like for us, whatever utility this player has is going to just be as a substitute and then go on anyway. So, right. I mean, quite often, if you get choices like this and one of them has +5 speed and the other one has +0, like, that's quite a big swing. So whenever if the rest of it is like even remotely balanced, when some key attribute like speed is that swingy, you're just going to go with that, whatever that option is. And this guy we're actually been using in all the matches. Unfortunately, this matters for us, and he's getting a bit worse, it seems. I don't think this player will be hanging around. We had to use him, but this is a key player actually in our matches. We'll talk about it after, but this guy has been doing a lot for us. So natural fitness, strength. He hasn't been doing a lot of crossing. The dribbling does matter. The passing matters. The tackling. And I think this one just pips it a little bit. I think mostly, we're not too bothered about the 2 points in natural fitness that much, but it does matter. The strength matters to us. We care. The crossing, not too bothered about. The dribbling, we do care. And the passing, we do care. So basically on this side, there's like one extra thing that we really care about, 1 point higher. And on this side, there's the strength and the passing. I think the passing and the dribbling, I think in order of priority for us, what we cared about in regards to the points differences here is we care most about the strength, and then second most about the dribbling, third most about the passing, fourth most about this 2 extra points in natural fitness, and then fifth most is extra point crossing. So basically, this one is a bit better for us for this player. when they're that close, it's awfully dependent on the type, the player, and exactly what you want to get from them. This guy, I think at the moment he's on the bench for us. We probably won't be using him long term, so it doesn't matter too much. I think this guy we've been using a bit off the bench as well, but he doesn't really fit into any kind of real long-term plans. This is a right back. Again, it doesn't fit into any real long-term plans here for us. This is an extra contract extension. Can matter a lot if you want to keep the player long term, but for us, we're not. We'll never. He won't be around that long, so it doesn't matter. It adds one extra season to their contract length, though it's just worth bearing that one in mind. I think before with the player, which one was it? It was this guy. If it's like this, it means he'll get MR position also added. But yeah, we're not too bothered about that either. But yeah, just for reference. Those things can be exceptionally valuable on the right players with the player won't be around long term. This player we've been using, unfortunately his speed looks like that's not going anywhere. Crossing we care, control we care, vision we care. Okay, so this is pretty you could go either way. I'm going to go with this one because I like the crossing in particular, but you could definitely go this way. But this player, yeah, it's quite close, is what I'm saying. Another player that's just not going to be around. Another one. Another one. This guy I've been using, I think, off the bench at the moment. The marking we care about, the finishing we don't. The aerial ability we do a bit. I'm going to go with this one. Just for those 2 points in marking. Because he's not that great or whatever, so having him as the guy that doesn't really step up and do anything but just sits back and mark. I think there is you could definitely argue that extra point in aerial ability as well. I think it's close, to be honest. But I think it's close. I'll put it that way. If I thought about it more, I'd go this way. But I think this player will probably be gone. We will no longer be using him either tomorrow or the next day, so I'm not going to deliberate too much on it. Yeah, they are exactly the same. It does not happen very often. May not happen again for us the rest of the season, but I just thought it'd be interesting to point out. Is that the keeper? I think that's the keeper we're actually using, so it's just worth noting that he got a bit better. So that's all right. It's our super slow youth striker. No, he's not. This is our fast striker that we hadn't really been using, but is on the bench at the moment because of the injury, and he is okay at shooting and stuff, so we'll just go with this one. He won't be in our long-term plans either. Go with this one. It's mostly because of this agility difference. It's that's why. Again, this point forward. If when you got the one with 6 speed and the other with 0, like there has to be very compelling reasons and there are other things to sort of go the other way. And yeah, so as soon as it's even remotely close, you're just going to go with this plus 6 speed. Sinisa Sorge. I think he's either one that can yeah, so he's the one that may be around for a bit for our youth team at least. So the 3 marking, so this is a tricky one. So this side you're getting the 3 marking extra 3 marking, extra 2 control, extra 2 crossing. This side, you're getting extra 2 tackling and extra 3 flair. Now, you don't really care about the crossing at all. Don't really care about the flair that much, really. So, what you're really saying is, I mean, yeah, you really don't care at all. You probably care slightly more about the flair than the crossing. Plus, it's an extra point, but it's really not that important at all. But these other ones really kind of do matter. So, it's like 2 tackling versus 2 control and 3 marking. It's so I'm gonna go with this one. The thing is super close. I think the reason why, in particular, we're going this way though, is because our other defenders can't tackle. So we need this guy. We need this guy to be the guy that is going to be stepping up to make all the tackles in the first instance. So tackling is even more important for this guy than what it ordinarily ever would be for a defender, at the moment at least. This may change, but again, I think this guy will be around for a while, but I don't see him as being good enough for, like, you know, still being in our team. He won't be in our senior team. I don't be part of our senior team once he turns 22, I believe. Let's put it that way. So I'm not. So now I'm sort of just picking the boost based on what's going to make my youth team a little bit better for the rest of this season, or for at least for the coming days. So very short term pick, but like I said, I don't think he'll be around long term to care too much about the long term side of it. This guy, I'm not sure we're really using him anything much at all. The finishing and long shots, you just don't care at all. So you're basically just saying extra positioning, extra strength, 2 extra endurance versus 1 extra marking. So I think it's just clearly better. It's probably that one. That one. So this is our super fast striker who we've been using, who's injured. So it's quite interesting that we'll end up going with this one just because this one's just straight up better because it's the same values but an extra 3 tackling. So I'm just going to double check on it again. So he won't, you know, it's still interesting for us to see what other options we get here, but he was fast and he's even a little bit faster. So that's good. And this guy has been super important for us as well. He's been having a lot of long shots. I don't know if he'll still be in our plans long term, but he's been having long shots, not the closer range finishing. So I feel like you're just going to, for us, there was checking the stats before. I don't think he's having an abnormally large amount of headers either. So I feel like the aerial ability, anyway, it does matter. I'm just saying, it's not, at least for how we've got our team set up, it's not a huge deal for him. He's also not attempting a lot of tackles, so that's not a huge deal. But he is creating a lot of chances and taking a lot of long shots. So the vision, that matters. The extra bit of speed, both 5 and 6, so that's 2 good choices, but obviously 6 is more than 5. The +4 extra agility is a pretty big deal here as well for us. I feel like on the whole, like, you could convince me of this side. But I'm going to go this side. I think it's pretty close, to be honest. But the extra 1 speed, in particular, is close, to be honest. So it is close. I'm not saying that the 1 speed is definitely up. 2 aerial ability, I think as a general flight rule for a central midfielder, all things being equal, like 2 extra aerial ability is certainly probably better than 1 extra speed. So it isn't. And that, I think, it's that +4 agility. Even though he's not attempting many tackles, it is the +2 tackling. I'm just going to check his profile for a second. So yeah, so the tackling really doesn't matter at all because even with extra 2 points, we're never going to want him to sort of stay back ever. He can't mark, he can't tackle, so we definitely always will be pushing him forwards. So, but his aerial ability is also super low anyway, so we don't really care about the extra aerial ability. So yeah, I think it's fine. If his aerial ability, I think looking at this, because he's tackling so low, I think in particular, if his aerial ability was at least average, we probably would end up switching it to be the other one. But because that doesn't matter either, effectively, now you're just saying that kind of doesn't matter, the tackling kind of doesn't matter. Now you're just sort of saying it's like 4 agility and an extra speed versus an extra vision and an extra finishing. So that's really what it's looking like. So it's certainly like 4 agility, 1 speed is better than 1 vision and 1 finishing, basically. Another player that just doesn't matter. Kind of just doesn't matter. Like, if it was a player you're going to use, the 5 points in determination for a super young player is kind of cool if you're using them. It helps them develop a lot better. So this guy is another one that really matters for us. So we're saying lose an extra 1 in aerial ability in order, and 1 less in movement, which we do not care about for this destroyer role player. So what we're really saying, we don't care at all about that, pretty much. So it's like, do you want 1 extra passing but lose 1 aerial ability? Maybe. He's not that great at aerial ability anyway, and he's really good at passing, so we can play into that more. And then you get that bonus movement you just don't care about, but yeah. So, oh no, that's not. Yeah, that's right. No, you don't get it. We won't get the bonus movement we don't care about. So we will go this side. And you can see the values here when I'm going to the profile. I'm just going to the profile to see the full picture, including the other attributes that aren't just these ones, in case there's something there to be aware of. And then this one, again, it's just this one is better. So, training options all picked. And I think we will move into the next matches. But I think for now, we'll keep the matches on their own separate videos. One thing, I'll just point one thing out. We can go to the player auctions, and we can put a bid down for these. Now, as we get some of our dividend payments, maybe we will look to try to enter this market a bit, and maybe pick someone up. But right now, they're just way out of our price sort of range. So maybe it's something could look at a bit later in the process. But for now, it's not for us, pretty much. So, right, it's the end of this video, and we will play some more matches in the next video.